Hey everyone, I'm Erin Saxton, that girl from Jersey. My next guest is my kind of girl. Let me tell you why. She's a life and business strategist who assists people in achieving their big ideas. I kind of know a thing or two about that, but what she does also is encourages people to tap into their intuition. Please welcome my guest and my friend, Jill Fosco.
Hi, Erin.
Hi, Jill.
I'm so excited to be with you. I'm so excited for this. I've been I just can't wait to dive in and just explore, because who knows what's about to happen right now.
Well, you and I like to explore. We've been friends for a good long time.
Yes.
We met at a business conference. I usually like to talk about our first 24 hours. And while I can't say for what our first 24 hours was, we met in Vegas.
Yes.
So there alone is like something crazy, right?
Juicy.
But we met at a networking conference. And yeah, our first 24 hours was, I think, just a love fest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I remember just being in absolute awe of, really, truly, you don't know that. You probably don't know that. That's news.
Tell me more.
This just in. I do. I've always been so fascinated with the media and fascinated with messaging, because ever since I could remember, I would be like watching TV, like, why did they say that like that? Why did they do that like that? They were on TV. They had all these people looking at them. Why didn't they, bring the good message in, or like be powerful, or, say something uplifting? Why did they, that moment is so important. And you just being so confident and so clear and just sharing all these tidbits and pro tips and things like that. I was in awe of you. You don't know that. So I really, yeah.
Thank you. So what Jill is referring to is, so when we were at this networking conference, I was one of the keynote speakers. So Jill was listening to either a workshop or a keynote that I did. And I'm glad you think I'm confident. So I am confident in a lot of things. I'm totally not confident in a lot of other things though. So I think that's pretty normal, but thank you. I just loved that when I met you, and everyone will see this as we talk, is that you're a firecracker. And whatever you dive into is a success. And so we're very similar in our approach, right? We're very similar in what we do. So a brand strategist, and you're more of a life strategist. I let people do their life thing. That's awesome. Let them do that. Like, I'm just gonna focus on people's brands, and but you bring like a luxe glam, like gorgeousness to it. So tell me, like, what sets you apart? Like, why did you decide to do that with that?
Well, because it wouldn't leave me alone, Erin. It wouldn't leave me alone.
Tell me more about that.
I tried to not have beauty and glam and luxury and just that vibe in with my work. I tried to get really serious and firm, kind of like, I feel like that's not necessarily a thing like it used to be a thing. Like, I believe the year we met, Shark Tank came out. I think that was the first year on ABC, Shark Tank came out, which is so up my alley. Oh my God, I'm obsessed with Shark Tank, obviously, probably. But anyway.
Okay. It's a great show.
I love it. It's like,
I used to work with Kevin Harrington, one of the original Sharks. So we were his PR firm for a nanosecond. No, I mean, he self-propelled. He didn't really need much help, but yeah, Kevin, I don't know if you know Kevin, but he's a sharker.
I might have bugged him at the conference and wanted to know about what he did.
Guilty.
Yes, guilty. Yep. If you don't ask, you don't know, right? So I feel like back then, and I think that's kind of cracking open now. It used to be like, if you were going to be in that field, or you were going to have those kinds of conversations, it used to be like, grrr, like you almost need to have like, bring that meanness, that firmness to the table. And I tried that, and it's so not me. Like, I'd be like, okay, I did my homework. That's not who I am. I love to make people feel beautiful. And I think that that's limitless. You don't need to be, I love luxury because I think luxury is a feeling. I don't think that that should be in any way a barrier. I think it's a feeling that we can access. And when we have that, we glow it. So everything we do has just a spark to it, like you're saying, and enthusiasm, that passion comes out when you feel good from the inside. It's like that inner light. You just can't help but radiate it. And it's attractive, whether it's in business and life or relationships. You're emanating something that you can't make up. You can't buy it. You can't pay for it. It's something that you have to tap into. Right. Within yourself. And so there's the inner beauty and the outer beauty, no matter what really the subject or the topic or the background is going to be. And it won't leave me alone, Erin. I tried. I was like, no, I'm going to have beauty over here and I'm just going to be a consultant. And like, it just comes in because it's something that is supposed to be in my world. It's something that's supposed to be, you know, is something that I assist people with because it goes back to that.
But not all brands are luxury or pretty. So what do you do? Here's a scenario, pushing back a little. What do you do if somebody comes up to you and it's just not your version of luxury? Do you then try to find what's beautiful about that brand, or do you just decline them working with you?
I do. Really, if people are open, I'm super open. What's more important to me is, do you give a crap about what you're creating? What I mean by that is, do you care that it's eco-friendly? Do you care where you're sourcing your ingredients, materials, people? Do you treat your people good? Like, those foundational things have nothing to do with what it looks like. But if they're there, small shifts can get you to having, again, that essence that's permeated throughout your brand. So sometimes it's not so much a visual change. It's just getting that message in a place that brings about the strength of the integrity behind those relationships. So for me, that's way more important than what anything could ever possibly look like.
All right. So it's luxury, but it's also way much more than that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
English? Is that even English? Way much more than that? Probably not.
I love that.
Sometimes I don't really speak properly.
Well, and I love that. Well, and it's funny too, because speaking of luxury, in a way, you're going to bust me right now, but it's like, it's my Trojan horse of a deeper topic, because if we get into luxury, sometimes we get into conversations with people that have influence and audiences and things like that, where you can make really substantial change and shifts in those types of conversations. So it's kind of my Trojan horse of a way to get into, because as we know in that category, I mean, you have where you can raise money for charity, you can raise money for things, you can have those kinds of conversations. And at the end of the day, people are like, oh my God, I thought we were talking about makeup, or oh my God, I thought we were talking about, you know, branding and intuition and, you know, how that all melds together. Next thing I know, I want to go back to my community and help out. I want to fire up my family. I want to get over myself maybe and roll up my sleeves and, you know, do that soup kitchen or whatever it is that, you know, has been calling me in on the calendar and something that I haven't been doing. So it's a scam. I'll be honest. It's the total, no, I'm just kidding.
You know, you mentioned, you're so funny. You mentioned intuition. So how intuitive do you feel we all are naturally?
100%.
Yeah.
I feel we all have the ability to strengthen the intuitive nature within us. Absolutely. Absolutely. I did not used to be intuitive. I used to be very analytical, and I needed to tap into my intuition because I was making a lot of decisions in a very short period of time, definitely in business, you know, having those types of conversations. And I needed to be able to differentiate people's energy. Like, who's going to be the people who are going to have my back? Who are going to be the people who are speaking their truth, keeping their word, being in integrity, so that I knew what that felt like and that I could move forward in faith and confidence. So it's not something that I used to have. So I worked on it and I honed it. And if I can do it, there's no reason why anyone else can't.
So walk us through that. Like, so what are some baby steps or first best practices to like start tapping into our intuition, or how do you start working with your clients or even yourself with honing that, sharpening that skill?
I love that. So basically, I believe it's all about being in the flow. I believe it's all about being in your now, in your flow. There's a lot of these words, and I know that they can mean so many different things for people because it's about the things that necessarily your five senses aren't, limited to, right? So when you're in the flow, when you're listening to a really good song, you're making really good food, you're meditating in a bathtub with your salts and a candle, or you're just driving along your favorite.
There's some crazy nights there at your house, Fosco.
I know. I am like that though. Like, to me, it's so therapy. It keeps me aligned and it keeps me really super high vibe and charged up. And then the information just comes in. Why did that sound really boring?
No, it was like, you had us in a bathtub with candles and Barry White music.
Ooh, Barry White? I would pick Aretha, but Barry White, I will have to do that one next time.
Wait, if you're naked in a bathtub, you're going Aretha? Really?
I love soul.
Are you sure?
Soul
naked
music
in
girl.
A bathtub with Aretha. You've heard it here, folks.
Quite frankly,
it gets more real. Wait, guys, she has an announcement.
But wait, there's more. A Star Is Born, the entire soundtrack, is what was true for me last night in the bathtub with my.
You're learning so much. I'm even blushing right now because I've taken it 3 steps ahead.
Oh.
I'm just saying, I always have to do that, and everyone at home knows I always have to do that. So there's that Shazam. All right.
I love it. No, stop. No, I was in the deep end with Lady Gaga last night. That sounded really good. Okay, there we go.
Really secured it in there.
Merry Christmas.
Exactly.
But I was in the flow. I'm telling you, like, my vibe could not, like, I don't know how it could have been higher. And I was getting all these insights last night. I was getting all these business tips, and I can go into kind of like a little how-to if you want to really sharpen.
No, I mean, this is joking aside, this is good stuff. And I think people are so blocked and so not giving themselves the green light to go ahead and just get the download. I mean, I'm so intuitive when it comes to listening to myself, but sometimes what I say sucks to myself, right? I'm just being honest. So I listen to me. Yeah. Sometimes I listen to me too much, and I shouldn't be talking to myself the way I talk, right? So sometimes I'm not very kind to myself, but I'm working on that. So, I think it's important to also differentiate between intuition and bashing oneself or getting like a certain message. So
if it ever sounds like bashing, I mean, that's not your inner guidance.
Right.
It's absolutely not your inner guidance. I mean, and I really want to firmly stand on that. Like, really, truly, honestly, if you are hearing or if you are getting something that is not uplifting in nature, it is not your inner guidance. That's not the highest truth. It's absolutely not. We have thoughts, we have energy, we have habits, we have sometimes in the intuitive or, the spiritual community, whatever you want to call it, we'll call it thought forms. Like, there's just kind of energy around. Like, have you ever been where you walk into a room, there might not be even anyone in that room, but it just feels maybe off, and then maybe you learn that it was a wonky energy, or like maybe some disagreement or discord or something like that happened there.
Right.
We pick up on that. There's so much that obviously we don't know that we have, that we pick up on. And so I love that conversation because it's differentiating between what's around versus what you're creating. And when you're creating, which is my point, like with my bathtub point, it's getting me in the mode. Like,
back to the bathtub, Jill.
Yeah, back to the bathtub. No, but like anything that gets you where you can hear you, and it should feel positive. It should feel encouraging. It should feel like it's taking you higher, because that's where our growth is. That's where healing occurs. that's where, you know, things that we can't explain mend, grow. I mean, which way do plants grow? I mean, down, not usually, but their roots do. But you know what I mean? It's like everything that's true, we can find an example of it, whether it's in nature or right in front of us. So yeah, getting into that difference, it should be encouraging. Or it's just thoughts and you can just like turn them down. It's just like, no, like that's not true. It's just like,
I think it's important to really differentiate between that and just kind of like, I have a friend who says, up, next, you know, because whether you're spiritually evolved or not, you're still, we all have that self-talk, that critical mind, that negative chatter. Or I love me, a person who really loves themselves so much that there's no critical and all that is falsely like, you're great, like go for it. Like, I don't know the opposite of that. Like for one day, wouldn't it be fun to like, not really, but because there's like, I just, I don't know what's worse, the person who like bashes themselves all the time or the person who thinks they're so great that like they can't take feedback or any type of collaboration because they know it all. Like, I'm not sure what's more offensive to me.
Well, I believe that they should be almost equally affecting you in the same way because words aren't going to cover up your vibration. So it's not even, there's a deeper thing going on than the words.
Right.
So it's like, whether you're saying like, you know, oh yeah, you know, whatever self-depreciating kind of talk, or whether you're saying, well, I'm so great, look at me, you're saying the same thing.
Yeah, that's true.
With different words. But if you like got into that place where you remember you're limitless, because we really are, there's too much that is going on that we can't explain that is good.
Yeah.
That like, come on. It's just like, can we just get to that place where, you know, let's just act like that is real and that we have infinite ability to tap into it. And then what? Like, what if we tried that? Like, then we're playing at a higher level. We're not just pushing things around on the planet and having conversations and emails and texts and things like that. We're tapping into something so much greater that we all have equal access to, right? So something that I love to share in regards to intuition, and I think that it's a really big nugget that I've learned that I would just love to pass along to anybody who's, you know, into this work, that you can really take and run with and have an actual up-leveling experience with honing in your intuition, which is, a lot of people are like, how do you trust your intuition? Like, la, 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 right? And it's like accuracy. How do you test your accuracy? Okay, here's a really fun thing that I love to do. And I love walking clients through this. And it's super fun. So I literally...
Need a pen?
Sure, absolutely, yeah. Or something that I use. Get your pen, girl. Get the pen. What I use is my notes section on my phone. I just use my notes. And the higher your vibe is, the more access that you're going to get to the highest, most valuable information that you have access to at any point in time. So the value add to kind of get up there, which means, sorry, you're going to have to like be happier, like, and do what you, I know, it's a shocker. I know, I'm sorry, you got to get as happy as you can get. Or just feel as good as you can get. Because sometimes happy isn't attainable, but it's like the better you can feel, then the increased ability you're going to have to your best guidance that comes through.
Got it.
So that's always step number one. And that's going to look different for everybody. Aretha Franklin in a bathtub might be someone's worst nightmare. So don't do that if that does not make you happy. If you want to go work on a car and that makes you happy, you're gonna have, if you set the intention to be bringing in your intuitive guidance, then there's no limit on when or how that can happen, right?
Right.
So then separate the quote unquote, experts to hobbyists, I guess you could say, in the realm of intuition.
Okay.
Something that I like to do is before I go to bed, I will take the notes section on my phone and I will set an intention. It's so simple. Remembering that we're going to get the answer to the question that we ask. So be mindful of what you're asking, right?
Okay.
Because it's going to magnetize that information, that feedback. You're going to get that feedback. And it takes a little bit of practice. But like I said, if I can do it with no intuitive ability to start out, and now I'm very, very accurate to the point where sometimes like it takes about 3 days and then the event will transpire and I can go in my notes, look, this person called, or this is what, and I have evidence.
Gotcha. So let's, I know what you're saying, but I want to make sure everyone at home knows what you're saying. So
Yes.
you're really talking about manifestation, but you're calling it intuition.
Or law of attraction, or mastering your own, creating your reality.
Exactly. So
accessing your guidance.
when you go into your notes,
Mm-hmm.
are you, so sometimes people will talk about writing a question down and they fall asleep and they get the answer why they dream.
Yes.
That's not kind of what you're saying, but not really what you're saying. So you're saying like there's a goal that you're going to write down, or there is something, or is it a question, or is it a statement? Get a little more specific.
I love that. So it's almost like I'm leaning back on like ask and you shall receive.
Cool.
So when I pulled my notes out, and this is for me, and this can look different. So I don't want to put anything in a box like there's some right or wrong way, but this is what I do. And I'm a very spiritual person. I'm all about like God, spirituality, source. I don't care what it's called. I don't, you know what I mean? I think we all can have that conversation. Anybody who wants to, no matter what their specific, beliefs or anything like that is.
Right.
For me, I write down something to the effect, this is just how I do it. Like, dear God, thank you for showing me in my dreams tonight in ways I'll clearly remember and understand what to do about this, who to call about this. Do I move forward with this? And I try to keep it very simple, very concise, expecting the answer to come in.
Interesting. That's awesome.
And then I kind of like close the chapter. And for me personally, like if people don't, because a lot of people, and it's natural to be turned off by the word God or turned off by the word spirituality and things like that. If you want to just surround it with light, just surround your question with light, like whatever resonates with you, surround that process so that you are setting the highest level of intention for it, so that you can trust what comes in, so that we're not just maybe playing into a fear that we might have, or just other things that can come in, which doesn't mean that can't influence your results. It's kind of like driving a car. You get better the more you do it. And then when you wake up in the morning, like a journalist or like a reporter, write what you get. I don't care how silly it is. Like if you had a dream about a monkey drinking a Coca-Cola, it doesn't matter. Just write it. Don't judge it. As soon as you get up, like, how did you feel? Where were you? You know what stands out for you. This isn't for anybody else to go in and read or grade you or anything like that. This is for you. So if you have these insights like, oh, I had this vision of my aunt and we were at my friend's house and it was raining. Cool. Like, don't overthink it. Just put it in your notes and go on about your life. And then see what happens. Like, oh my gosh, well, that aunt called me and she was on her way over to that house. And then we were watching a show and it had a Coke in it. And then I got this idea for this new thing that I wanted to have this idea in. Then go in your notes and look at the question. And you can start to see how you're tracking and creating your life. You're creating and you're magnetizing to you what it is that you're intending. And when you start to see those real time events happening over and over and over, like you get to trust your intuition. Cause then like the more you do it and you're like, oh my God, I love it. Cause like my husband, God love him. I mean, he'd be like, Jill, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, it's fine. It is what it is. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this is what I'm talking about. 3 days ago, this person I said was going to call it this time. And then they did. So it's like, now what? You know what I mean? It's like, I have notes, people. Like I write it down so that you can start to move forward on things and maybe step out in places that you wouldn't normally. But it's like you have your hand held by the universe or by source or, you know, whatever you believe in that's guiding you higher. You're just getting that real-time feedback that even you can't deny is happening for you in real time.
That's cool. That's really cool. I mean, it's also just about just getting better and honing that in. I mean, it's to the point where, you know, I think it's Lisa Nichols and I used to work together, and she's a best-selling author. And she said, it's like placing a order at a restaurant. Yes. Like you ask for a, you know, filet mignon, and you intend to get, you expect, you know, you're getting the filet mignon within like, you know, 20 minutes. So you wouldn't order a filet mignon and accept a Greek salad coming back. You're like, I ordered a filet mignon.
Right.
So it's about knowing how to place the order, getting it back, and really strengthening your ordering skills.
Absolutely. And I don't believe it ends. It's like there's no topping out.
No.
Of tapping in.
Exactly. So listen, I know I want to keep this next answer and question evergreen because of timing and when this will air. So I know you have retreats. I know you work with clients.
Yes.
You know, you're constantly doing various retreats. Like as we do this interview right now, you have a retreat coming up. But let's just drive traffic to one location. So no matter when somebody is viewing this interview, they can look at your upcoming work. So where can people learn more about you, or do you want to talk a little bit about the retreats that you run? What can people know if they want to learn more about you?
Thank you so much for the opportunity to share that. I really appreciate it. JillFosco.com is my home online. And you definitely want to subscribe. I do not have, you know, an email list that's going to bombard you in any way, shape, or form. I'm not that girl. But if you want to stay updated with everything that I have going on, I love working with powerhouses. It's just a natural magnetism that I have. People who run their own life. And I don't believe that there's a limit with that. So it could be CEOs, moms, creatives, people with ideas that have an idea on a napkin that they want to bring to fruition. I love working with those kinds of people who I can sit and help discover ways to bring about their ultimate vision with them intuitively. So I work with clients. I do sessions, virtual sessions where it feels a little bit like this. I work with people live. And I'm so excited about the retreat. So basically we're taking the experience live. I get to be the hostess with the mostest, which is one of my favorite things to do, and facilitate an experience where you walk away with an intuitive business strategy that aligns with your life, who you actually are, your divine nature. It's not something that's filled with a lot of templates or worksheets or things like that. And I'm not knocking that. I want to see what's inside you. And I want you to walk away clear and confident about that. And in alignment with your brand and your creation and your soul and what you're here to really accomplish, your literal iconic work. And we do it at the most beautiful locations where everything's taken care of, where you can hear yourself walk out with clarity in a way where you feel energized and soothed and clear when you get home and ready to hit the ground running versus overwhelmed. I've been in different situations like where you get home and you're like, oh my God, I'm so much more confused. Right. Then when I went, I want you to feel like your soul had a spa vacation and somehow this creativity that is better than any level of creativity that you've ever produced, just effortlessly streamed out of you in an organized way with high business acumen that's able to be translated into your dreams.
Awesome. So it's jillfosco.com.
Yes, absolutely.
That's
And
where
I'm
we
all over
go.
social media too. So come say hi for sure. Social media.
Excellent. Well, thank you for being here today. And thank you for your lively chatter about topics that can be a little tough to digest. And I think you make everything fun, and you're one smart cookie, and I just adore knowing you. So thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Erin. It's such an honor to be here. Thank you so much.
And everyone at home and everyone who's listening and watching, thanks for being here as well. I'm Erin Saxton, that girl from Jersey, and I'll see you next time.